Have you ever felt that your soul once tasted something pure, something divine, and ever since then, this entire world feels like a downgrade? Have you ever wondered why the heart becomes restless? Why blessings lose their sweetness? Why we complain even though we once begged for the same things? The single verse of Surah Al-Baqarah hides a secret about the human soul, its inner poverty, its forgotten hunger, and the mysterious way in which a person falls from heavenly nourishment to the dust of his own desires. Tonight, we enter a story not of Bani Israel alone, but of every human being who once received spiritual manna, but then chose worldly onions. Prepare yourself, because this verse has the power to change how your heart understands your own complaints, your cravings, your boredom, and your distance from God. And when you said, "O Musa, we cannot endure one kind of food," on the surface, they were simply complaining about food. But in Sufi understanding, this is the voice of the ego, nafs, inside every human being. When the soul receives one pure nourishment, a single direction toward Allah, a consistent spiritual routine, a stable path of truth, the ego becomes restless. It says, "I want variety. I want sensation. I want more flavors, more distractions, more stimulation." The one kind of food represents divine simplicity, the purity of tawheed, the beauty of contentment, the nourishment of remembrance. But the ego does not want peace. It wants drama. It wants complications. It wants new cravings to chase. This phrase reveals a painful truth. The spiritual path is simple, but the ego finds simplicity unbearable. So call upon your Lord for us, that he may bring forth for us what the earth grows. Notice the shift. They move from heavenly food descending from above to asking for things that grow from the earth. In Sufi symbolism, heavenly food is the symbol of spiritual light, inner nourishment, states of presence. Earthly food is the symbol of worldly attachments, desires, distractions, emotional cravings. The soul is fed from the heavens. The nafs is fed from the earth. Here the people reveal their inner state. They desire lower vibrations, heavier energies, earthbound appetites. Instead of rising to the food of angels, they want to descend to the food of the soil. The tragedy starts when a heart that once tasted divine light begins craving dust again. Its herbs, its cucumbers, its garlic, its lentils, and its onions. These are ordinary foods, but symbolically, these represent layers. Herbs, small pleasures. Cucumbers, refreshing worldly comforts. Garlic, strong desires that leave long traces. Lentils, heavy, dense energies. Onions, layers upon layers, just like the ego's illusions. The Sufis say the onion is the nafs. Peel a layer, another layer remains. Every worldly desire is like an onion, temporary, tear-bringing, never satisfying. This verse is a mirror. How many times have we replaced the pure sweetness of faith with the onion layers of worldly distraction? How often do we prefer emotional stimulation over spiritual stability? He, Musa, said, "Will you exchange what is better for what is lower?" This is not just Musa speaking to them. This is Allah speaking to you. Every time you choose a desire over discipline, a distraction over dhikr, a moment of pleasure over a moment of presence, sin over purity, noise over silence, the world over your heart, you are making the same exchange. Allah asks you gently, are you really replacing something better with something lower? The Sufi masters say the entire spiritual downfall of a human being begins with this single choice, choosing the lower over the higher. But this line also carries mercy. It exposes your weakness, not to shame you, but to awaken you. Go down to any town and there you will have what you asked for. In divine language, go down means descend from spiritual altitude, fall from inner clarity, move from soul to ego, shift from light to heaviness. It is not just a geographical descent. It is a psychological and spiritual descent. Allah tells them, If you insist on lower desires, then you will live in the realm of those desires. This is a law of the soul. Whatever you crave becomes the world you live in. Crave purity, you rise. Crave desires, you fall. Heaven is not just a place. Heaven is also a state of the heart. So is Egypt. So is exile. So is darkness. And humiliation and misery were stamped upon them. Sufis interpret this as a spiritual condition. When a person chooses the ego over the soul, Allah places upon them dhillat, spiritual humiliation, loss of dignity, loss of inner honor. Meskana, inner poverty, restlessness of the heart, a permanent feeling of emptiness. This is not a curse, it is the natural consequence. A heart-fed onions cannot taste the sweetness of manna. A soul immersed in desires feels heavier, dull, and lifeless. This verse teaches that the worst punishment is not in the hereafter. The worst punishment is the death of spiritual sensation while still alive, and they return with the wrath of Allah. Sufis explain wrath here as the state of being disconnected from divine intimacy. When the heart chooses its desires repeatedly, it slowly loses the ability to feel divine nearness. This wrath is not fire, it is distance, a coldness inside, a veil. One of the greatest fears of Sufis is not hell. It is being forgotten by the beloved, losing the taste of remembrance, losing the softness of tears. This is divine wrath, when your heart becomes too noisy to hear him. That was because they repeatedly rejected the signs of Allah. What are signs in Sufi language? The little moments of awakening, the feelings that whisper, "Come back to me," the tears that want to fall, the sudden silence that enters your chest, the guilt that tries to save you, the dream that warns you, the blessing that softens you, the reminder that shakes you. Rejecting the signs means ignoring every chance Allah gives you to return. And they killed the prophets unjustly. Sufis say this is not only historical, it is also symbolic. A prophet inside your heart is a voice of conscience, a moment of clarity, a reminder of truth, a call to goodness, a spark of tawbah. Killing the prophets inside you means silencing your conscience, killing your guilt, ignoring your higher self, rejecting the voice that pulls you toward light. Every time you know what is right but suffocate that knowing, you kill a prophet inside yourself. This was because they disobeyed and transgressed. Disobedience in the Sufi path is not merely breaking rules. It is breaking your own soul. Transgression is not only against Allah, it is against your own heart. Sufis say every sin is a violence against the self. Every desire that replaces Allah is a wound to the soul. This verse is a map. Whenever you feel heaviness, sadness, emptiness, restlessness, somewhere in your life, you have chosen earthly food instead of heavenly food. But the beauty of the Quran is this: it diagnoses you, then it heals you. This verse is not pointing at your guilt. It is pointing toward your return. Final message. This verse is not only a story about Bani Israel, it is also a story about you, your heart, your journey, your cravings, your falls, and your possibility to rise again. There was a time in your life when you tasted something divine, a moment of purity, a moment of sincerity, a moment of closeness to Allah. You were fed manna, but life distracted you with onions. And yet, your Lord still waits for you. The heavenly food is still available. The door is still open. The path is still illuminated. Your heart can still return to its original sweetness. All you need is one sincere step. If this touched your heart, then don't let it end here. Share this video with someone whose soul needs awakening. Comment, "I choose manna over onions," to seal this intention inside your heart. And subscribe so I can take you deeper into the spiritual ocean of the Quran, one verse at a time, one awakening at a time. Your journey back to Allah begins now.